It's been a month now since the assassination of conservative activist and Turning Point USA co founder Charlie Kirk was assassinated. His loss has left a hole, a huge hole in the conservative movement, especially among young people. Something extraordinary has happened, though, in its wake. Out of this tragedy has come what most people are describing as a revival. The faith arm of Turning Point USA, known as TPUSA-Faith, has seen one of the biggest surges in its history, according to the folks leading the organization, nearly doubling its church network in just a few weeks. Folks, if that doesn't sound like a spiritual movement that's sweeping across the country, I don't know what does. Let's just take a look at the numbers here. TPUSA spokesperson Andrew Colvett told Fox News this week that their church network has grown from 4,000 to 8,000 churches nationwide. They have doubled. Wow. And beyond that, more than 200,000 new Christians have become involved with TPUSA Faith. Across social media, and listen to this, the organization has seen over 1,000% growth in followers, in views, and in people just interacting with them, engagement since the death of Charlie. That's not normal growth. That's not something that a marketing campaign could have happen. That's revival. Colbert went on the story with Trace Gallagher and described what's happening this way. And this is a quote. He said, "What we're doing in the faith space has more than doubled, and it's a testament to the legacy that Charlie Kirk has left. There's just so much more good than there is bad, and it's important for us to remind everybody about that." And boy, that is a powerful statement because there is more good than there is bad. Sometimes we just let the bad suck us into it because at a time when it would have been easy for Turning Point to retreat, to maybe slow down, to mourn the death of their founder. Instead, this group of young people and what we're seeing is an outpouring of faith, unity, and renewal because they have moved forward. And I think that says something profound about Charlie's life, his message, and the movement that he helped build. Now, for many of you who have followed Charlie Kirk for many, many years, you've seen him on college campuses, at conservative conferences, on podcasts, Sunday morning sharing his message of faith and freedom. And what's made him different from so many of the other activists, even on the right, is that he never separated politics from purpose. He saw faith not as something private or political, but as the foundation of liberty itself. That's what TPUSA Faith was built on. Their mission statement says it like this, and I'm reading. It says TPUSA Faith is dedicated to empowering Christians to put their faith into action. We engage, equip, and empower millions of grateful Americans who are prepared to defend our God given rights by giving them the tools to expose lies and articulate connection between faith and freedom. That's the heartbeat of this movement. Faith first, freedom always. Colvett described this response over the last month as revival like. He said his inbox has been overflowing emails, testimonies, stories pouring in from pastors and families across the country saying Charlie's message has reignited their walk with God. Wow. You see, uh, all across this country, people have been going back to church again. They've been reading their Bible again, all because of this young man, Charlie Kirk, who didn't live to be 32. You see it in the social media comments. People are saying, Charlie re inspired my faith. I'm going back to church. I'm praying for my husband. Our marriage has been saved because of the legacy and just the way Charlie lived his life. That is a testament. Let that sink in for a second. How many times do you hear about a political figure, not a pastor, not a preacher, but a political figure whose death leads to hundreds of thousands of people returning to the church? That's not politics, that's revival. Colvett also talked about something that kind of struck me, the way Charlie seamlessly integrated faith into everything that he did. He said, and I'm quoting Colvett, Charlie would not or would get a question regardless of the topic, And he'd find a way to integrate his faith into that answer. It's seamless. And he's right. If you've ever watched any of Charlie Kirk's videos, I don't care what the question was, what the topic was, he would always work his faith into that. I remember seeing those viral videos of Charlie on college campuses. Students would ask him about socialism or abortion or the Constitution. And somehow he'd always bring it back to the Creator who gave us our rights in the first place. And in today's climate, when so many young people are searching for something real, that message hit home. Now, after his passing, those old clips are being rediscovered by millions and millions of people. People are watching them again, not as political arguments, but as spiritual lessons. They're hearing his heart. They're realizing that for all the noise in our politics, faith is still the anchor. And that's the beauty of what's happening now. Turning Point USA Faith isn't just growing in numbers, it's growing in impact. They're offering prayer groups, monthly devotionals, online Bible studies, and faith based leadership courses for pastors and lay people. Everybody, anybody, I don't care what your age is, where you come from in life, they have something for you. They're building bridges between congregations that have drifted apart during COVID or gotten discouraged by cultural battles. And through it all, they're continuing Charlie's mission to remind Christians that our faith is not supposed to stay in the pew, it's supposed to shape the public square. We're supposed to not hide our light, but let our light shine. You know, there's a verse that comes to mind when I think about all this. It's in John chapter 12, verse 24, where Jesus says, "Unless a grain of wheat falls into the ground and dies, it remains alone. But if it dies, it produces much fruit." Charlie's death was tragic. His death was heartbreaking. It was senseless. But somehow, through God's grace, it's produced a harvest of faith, of courage, of commitment spreading across this country like a wildfire. And I believe we're just seeing the beginning. Colvin said it best. People hear about the way Charlie lived his life, how he loved his wife, Erica, and his kids, and they realize there's true wisdom here and a purpose for them, and it can be applied to anyone's life. And isn't that what we all want? To know that our lives mean something, that we will leave behind a legacy that points others towards truth, towards hope, towards God. That's what Charlie did. So, to all those 8,000 churches now part of this network, to those 200,000 plus new believers stepping up to say, "Count me in," keep going, keep working. You're just carrying on Charlie's work. You're carrying on a movement rooted in something eternal. And that's what makes faith so powerful. No bullet, no act of evil is going to destroy it. Faith endures. And in cases like this, it multiplies rapidly. So, keep working. Keep talking to your neighbors. Keep reaching out, particularly parents of young people. Get them involved. Encourage them to be involved. Pick up the Bible. If you don't have a Bible, read the Bible. Charlie may be gone, but his message, his faith, his fire, they're alive and well, and they're being they're exploding. But by the way, did you happen to see the Wall Street Journal's report on the sales of Bibles? They have soared in the week after the fatal shooting of Charlie Kirk. There were 2.4 million Bibles sold in the U.S. in September, a 36% jump over the same month in 2024. Wow, 36% jump in the sale of Bibles. It's the biggest month of Bible sales so far this year. I'd love to get your comments. Comment below, email me directly, joe@joeyhudson.com. You can leave me a message on the My Pillow message line, 864-477-JOEY, 864-477-5639. Just leave me a quick message. Appreciate your time today. If this is of value to you, be sure comment, like, and more than anything, subscribe so that we can talk again.